Sesaat lagi Anda akan
Terima kasih.
dengan nomor penerbangan GA290 Malang.
Karena rano fin semangat bisa kalimat jalan jelas.
Your attention please, passengers of Garuda Indonesia on flight number GA5642 Bali 15. Terima kasih. Your attention please, passengers of Garuda Indonesia on flight number GA health, and language. Please put your smartphone and tablet devices in flight mode at all times while using discretion. Thank you, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Apa yang nggak tahu ini mau kemana tadi?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Captain Febo Ravender Nazar, the pilot in command of this flight, and First Officer Jeffrey Sagala. With the entire crew members on behalf of Garuda Indonesia, member of SkyTeam, we want to welcome you aboard Boeing 737 and the series of Garuda Indonesia with flight number GA232, service to Semarang. Flight to Semarang will take about 52 minutes. Weather and route is forecast to be good, and weather at Semarang is particularly. Information regarding flight safety will be delivered by flight attendant under supervision of EVA-1 Heni Iswarowati, and soon you will see the safety video on the monitor. We appreciate you choosing Garuda Indonesia today, and we sincerely hope you enjoy the flight as well as our fine cabin service. We wish you a pleasant flight.
Penerbangan ini penerbangan bebas asal Propos dengan CA232 kerjasama Garuda Indonesia dengan China Airlines, Malaysia Airlines, All Nippon Airways, dan Bangkok Airways dengan tujuan ke Semarang. Terima kasih. Menuju keluar. In the event of emergency, the path light on the floor will illuminate to guide you to the exit. Kami akan memperagakan cara penggunaan sabuk pengaman, bagaimana menguncinya, mengeratkan sabuknya, kemudian melepaskannya. We will show you how to buckle, tighten, and unfasten the seat belt. Seperti biasa, pakailah masker Anda terlebih dahulu sebelum menolong yang lainnya. Pull the mask towards you to start the oxygen flow. Cover your mouth and nose with the mask. Adjust the lexicon from your head and breathe normally. Secure your own mask first before assisting others.
then prepare for landing.
Sebentar lagi kita akan mendarat. Silahkan memakai sabuk pengaman. Ya, sampai lagi. Tetap duduk sampai pesawat ini telah berhenti dengan sempurna dan lampu tanda kenakan sabuk pengaman telah dipadamkan. Bapak dan Ibu dengan lanjutan penerbangan dimohon untuk menghubungi petugas darat kami di bagian pindah pesawat. Sebelum meninggalkan pesawat, pastikan tidak ada barang-barang bawaan Anda yang tertinggal. Bagi Bapak dan Ibu yang duduk di business class, ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Ahmad Yani International Airport. Welcome to Semarang. Please remain seated until we have reached our parking position at the passenger belt sign is off. Passengers with flight connection are requested to consult our ground staff at the transfer desk.
Penalty subscribers encroaching.
Nggak apa-apa? Oh, oke.
Jakarta, Siswa Mandiri, tidak pesawat Nias Lawak nomor KLA